past elite. Crack 'em if you got 'em, pop tops and chill. Vancouver reppin' Dallas, show some real skill. Mockin' Philly charts, we roast 'em on the grill. Crack 'em if you got 'em, hear the buzz and thrill. Sunday games we analyze, Cowboys magnify. Philly tears and cans pop 'em, they cry. Tony Romo flashbacks, AJ's got the facts. Lombardi lustin', bring 'em titles back. Crack 'em if you got 'em, pop tops and chill. Vancouver reppin' Dallas, show some real skill. Mockin' Philly charts, we roast 'em on the grill. Crack 'em if you got 'em, hear the buzz and thrill. Anthony, Adam, AJ on the block. Dallas Cowboys swag about to rock the flock. Canadian hosted them Philly birds get mocked. Cowboys can fan podcast game locked. Crack 'em if you got 'em, pop tops and chill. Vancouver reppin' Dallas, show some real skill. Knockin' Philly church, we roast 'em on the grill. Crack 'em if you got 'em, hear the buzz and thrill. Big D, ain't a Gino chillin' BC. Trash talk flying eagles out of the tree.
What is up, boys? What is up? I had my mic muted. Hangover special. You know we're a little rocky off to start, but
Heck yes.
We're here. Second week in a row. Week 2, Monday hangover.
Hey, Championship Monday or Winning Monday. Let's go. First one of the year, baby. Nothing says Monday better than a big George W.
What was the vibe at work this morning for you, Anth?
Oh, I was picking fights with everybody.
Yeah.
I felt like a champion. If we can win that game against the New York Giants, I can win anything. Man, I was the vibe for me today, I mean, the thing with the 10 a.m. games on the West Coast, the thing with the 10 a.m. games is you kind of have the rest of the day to kind of decompress from it. And we all know after that game, we needed some decompression. So I went back, watched the full game clips on NFL.com, and still, I can't believe the Cowboys won it. And I know there's been a lot of people online, like, pissed off about the game, but the Cowboys that we watched under Mike McCarthy, I don't think they win that game. So for me, sure, they gave up 37 points, but I'm looking at it as a victory, a mindset victory, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't the game we wanted, but, if we would have lost, it would have been terrible. It feels like a really good victory. And at the very least, it was the perseverance of the team. Like you said, I felt like that would have been a game that we would have lost. And so I was shocked when the Cowboys, with 25 seconds left, got down there, scored. I was like, we don't do that. This isn't the Cowboys I know. And then to win in overtime and go back and forth, right? So we had a chance missed. Okay, Giants are going to score. They've been pretty much putting the ball wherever they want. And then the Cowboys stop. We get the ball back, and, the rest is history.
There was so much happening in the fourth quarter and overtime that it felt like its own game.
Yeah.
Like, there was, I think 41 points scored in the fourth quarter and overtime. Like, that's a crazy amount of points. That's usually, like, I don't know what the over-under was in the game, but that was probably pretty close to being hit just in overtime in the fourth quarter. But Ad, what were your initial thoughts, or your thoughts now that you've had some time to marinate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't the prettiest win for us, but it was like and I think you kind of already mentioned it, where people are like, it's the Giants. It's like, hey, any given Sunday, a team can absolutely show up, and they have credible NFL players. So it just being the Giants, I don't buy into it. I think it took me a little, like my heart rate and my elevated emotions were kind of just all over the place yesterday, and even waking up this morning and just listening and rewatching that last little bit, and watching our Cowboys Can Fan Reacts video. It's like, man, that was like one of the most insane fourth quarters and overtimes that I think we've had since we started this channel.
Yeah,
Totally.
loved it.
And sorry, AJ, just one last thing. And I don't know, I know we're still kind of figuring out the format for this, but of course, the good fact, there was good stuff that happened. The Cowboys got the W, but there was a lot of bad shit. There was a lot of things that the Cowboys need to iron out if they want to have a chance to compete with the Green Bay Packers in week 4. Hell, if they even want to compete with a team like the Chicago Bears next week, you can't be giving up over 500 yards in offense. You can't have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who sure is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You can't have a quarterback throwing for over 450 yards on you to have success in the NFL. So there's a lot of things to work on, but it's easier to have that kind of outlook on things when you got the dub.
Yeah, well, I think I was just going to come over to so we can look at some PFF numbers here or data. I had offense up, but we'll start with defense because I think offense we can hit on quickly, but defense for sure was really just like weak. And I hate to say it, but Dono Dub wasn't a very big contributor. He was a liability out there at times, man, and we can't see that. I guess let's go look down at the red because that's where things really matter, right?
Yeah, what Donovan Wilson's got to be the worst rate. Yeah, he's the worst rated player.
I was watching this guy and I forget who it was. I saw a Lob Nation post and I think it was a guy named Lando, but he was talking about how having Dono Dub in that single high safety, it's just not a position that he's used to playing, and it's like they didn't do him any favors in that spot anyways. Like Dono Dub should have never been in that scheme at all yesterday.
No, but again, after the 4th or 3rd time you've been beaten deep by somebody, it shouldn't take a rocket scientist to know, just be further back than the dude running. Like, he's still an NFL caliber athlete. And I agree. Donovan Wilson should never be the cover 3 safety in the middle of the field. He should be floating around the line of scrimmage. And maybe this is a blessing in disguise that they saw this and they're like, hey, he can never be there. But because you have a guy like Malik Hooker, who I found would fit that role a lot better, or even just get a cornerback to play that kind of spot. But you're looking at the bottom of the kind of the PFF grades here, and Donovan Wilson, by no surprise, was the lowest rated Dallas Cowboy yesterday, and it was very easy to see.
Yeah, this is just our coverage grades. Linebacker being down there, I don't know that that's really Damone Clark's best role anyways, to be coverage, but he was out there a lot for it. But looking just at the cornerbacks, right? Diggs underperformed. Obviously, Donovan Wilson. And then Malik Hooker and Kyer Lamb. Well, Malik Hooker was not very good, but Kyer Lamb was like serviceable.
Yeah. When you look at the tail of the tape here, Reddy Stewart. Reddy Stewart
was a really great surprise. He had a really good coverage grade, 74.1. So that's great to see.
Anth wants to look at it. Anth's not able to see anything right now.
You can't see? Shit.
This is how I look. No, it's all good. I can see it perfect. I can see it perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Hey, we'll figure that out. We'll get you a little screen that you can pop up.
Yeah, because everyone can tell. I'm on lunch break right now. And you're at the office. AJ, you're chilling, doing the work too. This is fun though. I like going. This is a good way because the whole point of this is so that we can kind of talk about the game and not have to use Wednesday night's main event to talk about the game that just had happened, which I noticed we would do in prior years. So this is good. Even just looking at this and the defense and the coverage grades, and you mentioned Reddy Stewart was a guy that we were kind of surprised with. He looked really good, and he just got to the Cowboys late August. So I would like to see that guy get a little bit more snaps. We know that Deron Bland's going to be out for a while. My question is, do you think the fallout of the Deron Bland injury is the result of Trevon Diggs and Donovan Wilson? Like, Diggs ended up playing how many snaps here? Does it show?
44.
That's coverage, though?
Yeah, this was his coverage snaps. You want total snaps?
Yeah, I just wanted, because last week he had only played, I think, 26. So even just 44 coverage snaps, he ended up playing double almost what he played last week. And we can all admit Trevon Diggs looked off.
Yeah, 61 total snaps.
Yeah, so he pretty much played every defensive snap. Donovan Wilson had 67, but you would see in a couple of the plays where Trevon Diggs got burned, you could tell that he was expecting over the top safety help. Like there was the very first big Malik Neighbors catch, and Donovan Wilson was the one playing safety, and he wasn't even close. So there's going to be some work to do. We saw the Cowboys play a lot of zone defense. They refused to blitz Russell Wilson, and when they did, it seemed like they had success.
Absolutely.
So what's the fix here, though? Like, what is the fix? Is it just changing up the scheme? Is it changing up players? Like, as far as the passing game goes, I've thought the run defense looked half decent, but what do we have to do to fix the passing defense?
Well, I think one big thing, if I believe it's true, right, was Clowney not signed?
Clowney was signed yesterday. Yeah, they were working on the deal with him during the game.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at these numbers while we kind of discuss that, that's one thing that I think the front office was working on from week one, and then I don't know if it was anything particular during the game or if it just happened to be a coincidence that the conversation continued throughout the game, right? And then they signed him. But definitely, I think like it's a factor. The Cowboys knew that was a weakness, and I think maybe the beginning of that first half and that long ass, what was it, 110-yard drive. Luckily, the Cowboys survived with only 3 points on that. And that was really, honestly, allowed them to win the game at the end of it all. But that drive might have been the one where they're like, shit, we need some pressure help because we are not getting it done.
Especially against we had talked pregame that the New York Giants, one of their weaknesses was offensive line. Mm-hmm. We didn't see that yesterday. We didn't see, what did the Cowboys have? Maybe one sack? Maybe two? Two sacks?
2 total sacks. Houston got one, and so did Kenny Clark.
So our boy Kenny Clark got in there and made some noise, but our defensive ends, like Fowler Jr., I've been expecting more out of him. I mean, his PFF grade wasn't awful, but he just hasn't popped out on the tape or on the field. Again, James Houston had a couple nice plays, but we're really missing that, and I hate to say it, that Micah factor right now, because Micah was always getting in there and causing a stir, and the only way you're going to replicate that pressure is by blitzing, where Eberflus look like he's kind of scared to do that at the moment.
Well, let me pull up Clowney here while you're talking, because he is a pretty awesome-looking PFF.
Jadeveon Clowney.
So this is his 2024 numbers.
Yeah, his numbers are pretty nice in 2024. Only 6 sacks, so he's not necessarily going to be that X factor, but he's going to help. Like, he's going to help the team, but I don't know how much we can expect this to help the rushing aspect, especially if he's out there and you're only rushing him and 3 other guys.
Yeah, overall, the last few years, he's had some good numbers. 6 sacks last year, 11 in 2023, 3 in 2022, 11 in 2021, and then none in 2020. So, like, he is kind of hit and miss. But look, if we're just getting someone who can come out there and pressure, what I like to see on this is his pressure numbers have been pretty damn consistent, even as he's aged. In fact, you could even argue that they've gotten better on average. So if that's what we're looking for and that's what we're needing, even if he's coming in and playing, 30 to 50% of the snaps, we have other guys who I think are going to continue to improve. Houston's a guy who I would like to see more. How many times was he out on the field? Houston had 21 snaps. There's room for him to play a little bit more. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree that some of these younger guys that we saw seem to really show out. We got to remember it is week 2. It is a whole new defensive scheme. And I think like when we look at adding someone like Jadeveon Clowney, I think is that his proper pronunciation?
Yep.
They're obviously just wanting that depth. I don't look at it as necessarily saying the team doesn't believe in our edge rooms. I think anything we can do to make that position group better, and possibly the reason Eberflus isn't sending more people is because they're just not confident enough. Are they seeing something in practice with this defense where it's like, we're just not confident enough to have the coverage go down? Obviously they got torched, so they have to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do with those secondaries. But I think adding somebody like Clowney in here is going to elevate the rest of the line, because I think we're still needing work there, right?
Yeah, but the issue with this, you don't blitz because you're scared you're going to get burned deep, right? Well, they were getting burned deep without blitzing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well,
Russell Wilson was standing there picking them apart, throwing the moon ball, and then when they did bring pressure, it was like he at least had to think. So the fact is, I agree with you don't blitz if you think you're going to be able to contain them with a 4-man blitz or 4-man rush. But we watched that wasn't working. And it was kind of like in the Eagles game too. They were having issues with Jalen Hurts scrambling until they started blitzing him, but they didn't start blitzing him until near end of the game. I would just like to see a little bit more aggressiveness at the start of the game, not wait until a team has 30 or 25 plus points on you.
Yeah. Well, the good news was the offensive side of the ball did pick up steam, and that's been a little bit of an opposite of what we've seen. Usually Cowboys score all their points in the first half and then it slows down in the second half, so that was nice. But I'll just throw some numbers at you guys here while we're looking at the offensive PFF numbers. We'll share this tab. So Cowboys 135 yards total, 4.8 yards per carry, and 100% red zone scoring, so 3 for 3. Those are things that we are not used to. Dak had 5 big-time throws, which I think he had 4 last week, so similar, and 2 turnover-worthy plays. So he had 2 last week too. Very similar to Wilson as well. Contested catches, which is why we have GP3. He was 3 for 4. I don't believe that includes the penalties, obviously. And then Lamb was 4 for 6. So those 2 guys doing what we want them to do. And finally, Javonte Williams, 5.4 average,
So
97
nice.
yards on 18 attempts, a 4.4 yard average after contact, and was
That's
6
nice.
for 6, 6 for 6 with his receptions, and had an 86 PFF pass block rating. So he's turned into quite the running back for Cowboys if this continues.
I also like that Schottenheimer brought up on his post game that he's a little bummed that he wasn't able to get Javonte Williams another 3 yards to break that 100 marker. So the fact that the Cowboys have been going to the run game and not bailing on it is a sigh of relief. I mean, we thought we were going to struggle the most possibly at running back, but it's looking like very formidable with Javonte Williams leading the charge.
Javonte Williams, could it be better? Like, he's exactly what you're hoping when you sign someone. I know everyone kind of had some reservations with him because he wasn't a very sought out after free agent. He kind of had some injury issues in Denver, but he has 3 rushing touchdowns in 2 games right now. He's on pace to break over 10.
Yeah.
And I would say all of us at the start of the season, if we said our running back had 10 plus touchdowns, that would be a win-win.
Big win
for the running game. So that's a great takeaway from yesterday's game and week 1, is that our running game isn't going to be a huge problem. A huge problem did happen yesterday though that I want to touch on. Cooper Beebe is out, and Cooper Beebe, I think, when I sent that to you guys, what did it say? 6 to 8 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks. You sent it to us right after I already said it, but that's okay.
Oh, did you? Hey, bro, didn't see it.
Yeah, but yeah, BB's targeting to be out 6 to 8 weeks.
So that's not great.
Yeah.
I mean, we did talk about having lots of depth on the offensive line. Brock Hoffman, a fan of the Cowboy Up podcast, Big Fella's show there. Big Fella's a huge Brock Hoffman guy. He brings a little bit of nastiness. So at least we have a guy that's had NFL experience and has done well in the NFL to back him up. So that's a little bit reassuring. And the Cowboys offense didn't completely fall out when Hoffman got in there.
For what it's worth, because I'm still having a hard time understanding how PFF ranks the offensive line, because I've read articles, people talking about how impressive the offensive line has been for the Cowboys. Regardless, Hoffman in his 10 snaps that he had, 16 snaps, sorry, had a better rating than Cooper Beebe. So are we going to get a major step down? It depends. I don't really know how much I understand how they rank. It's much easier to understand how they rank quarterbacks, wide receivers, and, defensive players but the offensive line is a tough one.
Yeah, or I think a good way for me is, PFF's tough, so it's like you can look at stats of other guys like running. If the running back's average dropped once the guy came in, which I mean that has nothing to do with PFF, but that's just, you're right, because I have no idea how PFF rates their offensive linemen. So I like to look at it how the offense played when there was a change. And to be honest, a lot of the points came after Hoffman was in. Not saying that is the main reason, but he wasn't a reason for the Cowboys not to score.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway from yesterday with this recent news of Cooper Beebe being out for 6 to 8 weeks is the fact that we do have a formidable, replacement in Brock Hoffman who can handle business, and he didn't let the whole ship sink once he went under center. Or once he took the center position. So that is a pretty good takeaway. It makes you feel a little bit better going into next week or the next 6 to 8 weeks, knowing that we have somebody who's taking snaps there.
My final thought heading into out of week 2, because we'll talk week 3 on Wednesday, boys.
Yep.
But heading out of week 2, I wouldn't mind if the Cowboys started looking for some more help in the cornerback or the safety department or cornerback department, someone maybe who can at least play a little bit of both. Or defense is really going to have to figure out how to fix that issue. It seems simple, but there probably is more to it. I know we were dogging on Wilson, and it looked really bad, but perhaps there was some explanation where, it's a scheming thing as well. Because he's played in the NFL long enough that he shouldn't be looking like he's a rookie out there running the wrong thing. So we'll see. I hope that improves. You guys got anything else to say?
I was waiting for Ants.
I was kind of waiting for Ad. I was kind of weird.
Okay,
we both held the door open for each other and just stared at each other.
Okay, so now
stop looking at me. Go.
Don't just stare at me. Go. My final thoughts coming from this weekend coming into next, specifically against the Bears. The Bears have looked like they've been struggling, so they're going to come in firing on all cylinders. We can't have another game like we did against the Giants where it's just too slow to get started. So the Cowboys absolutely on top of fixing their defense. We just need their offense to start gelling. We need to see Pickens on those slant routes. Turpin is probably out as well for this weekend with his x-rays. I mean, there's no thought on it yet. So we're going to be down. And absolutely, no matter what we do, Jalen Tolbert should not be on the field as a wide receiver. Okay, that's like the biggest takeaway for offense.
Yeah,
get
we
Jalen
didn't really
Tolbert.
talk about him.
Get Tolby. You're
Get him off.
You're not a third. You're not a third down guy.
It's either Flanoy, but there's still a fourth that's going to need to pop out there once in a while. So I expect to see Tolbert. He did have a little bit of a bounce back with that diving catch, which there was a penalty on the play, so it made it less necessary. But if you remember, he made that diving catch for first down, I believe, late in the game. So
don't defend him.
I'm not. I shouldn't. Right.
Yeah.
My last thing is they've proven that they can win a game in the gut or at the very end, gut wrenching time, but they still played down to the Giants, right? Yeah. They still did play down to the Giants, and that's something I was hoping with Shoddy they wouldn't do. Like if they would have come out there and beat the Giants 40-3 or even 30-10 or something like that, you're like, okay, they came out and were prepared. But let's not forget the offense started off with, I think, 2 3-and-outs. The defense allowed a couple big plays. So I'm still hoping that going forward with Schottenheimer, the Cowboys can kind of put teams to bed, or at least not look like two-half team, right? Like, sure, they came on in the second half, but I want to see full games. And I mean, Schottenheimer got his first win, which is sweet, and it's going to be one that he always remembers. And at the end of the day, I'm happy the Cowboys got a win. I've preached it a lot of the time, saying an NFC East battle is usually going to be a 3-point game. It was a 3-point game yesterday with the Cowboys on the winning side, so I'm still happy. Victory Monday feels good, a lot better. The hangover feels a lot nicer with the W in your belly. That car ride home with Big Fella yesterday could have been awkward if it was a loss. So.
Well, that was my favorite part with yesterday's stream when they scored that Malik Neighbors one and everything went silent. I thought Chris glitched out and froze the entire time. I thought, is this virtual, Chris? And he just froze on our screen. If for those of you who are taking a look at this right now, if you haven't had a chance to watch our fourth quarter overtime reaction, that's posted to the channel right now. So after you watch this, go ahead and give that a like and a like
right
and a
there.
boop. I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be
Like this too.
yeah, and like this too. Okay, anybody who wants to call us out, Anthony, you're in the car. Alex,
Do we do a call out on this, or do we just hit end?
I think we just.
Let's just flow with an end, or you want to do a call? Do a call out, Ed.
No, I was just. Hey guys, we're fluid on Monday hangovers. Sometimes
This is supposed to be when Ad just hit cut.
Yeah.
I was trying to, and you know what, I had my thing up there because as I was talking, I was trying to.